Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my workshop. I need a name for this place. Brian's in the Hartwood Studios. Terry's in Middle Earth. I need a name.
Stable Studios.
Stable Studio, sorry. But anyway, this is my workshop. You're welcome. We're playing with this piece of, it's an offcut from another project I did. It's what I call a Battenberg. Just glue some wood together. And Mike Walt did a 3-piece goblet the other week. There's a link down in the description, which made me think, oh, this is big enough to do that, just about, so I'll do that. Introduce you to my compadre for today. We have Mark, the gentleman wood turner. We have
Hello.
Ruby, the invisible. She'll be back in a minute.
Gonna make that tea.
Ruby's run away.
We have
Well done, Ruby.
we have Brian, who's getting ready for tonight, and we have Joe to keep those three in order.
Afternoon.
Joe's the cabaret.
You could call it Jenks Causeway. No, that's an island again. Sorry, you could call it.
Oh, here she is.
Hi, Ruby. We're live.
We're late.
We're live.
No, you're late. No, you're late.
I'm late.
We were on time.
Right. Let's pop over to the lathe and get started on this. Oops. Brian's here. I should have tied it up. Hang on.
Oh, look at the mess in that workshop.
2 minutes back.
You can see the floor, mine. Just saying.
Yeah, just
There
for
you
a
go.
change.
My Alexa's been programmed.
Chuck us in the background, Pete.
There we go.
Right, as I get this down to chuck shape and get started, we'll leave it up to the earworms to welcome you all in.
Who's going to do it?
I'll do it then. I'll do it.
Well
Good
done, Joe.
afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Pete's Hour or So. And at the top, I'm just going to go straight down the. I'm doing it from actual YouTube itself. So we've got Gentleman the Wood Turner, Michelle Ousby, Pete himself, TJ Turning, Ruby Clare, Chris Dodds. Got myself. We've got Brian El Tenero de Madeira, Brian with a Y, as I keep getting told. Malcolm
Brian with
Douglas,
the Y.
Todd at Glencove Woodworks. We've got Michael McEwen, Doug Miller, Clint at Wood Dancers, Greg Alexander, Keith Jarvis, Clive Rogerson, Terry Bartlett. Hi, Terry. Probably going to miss somebody out. Norman Greenwell. We've got Michelle Higgins, Jennifer Crafton Creations, Paul Hoyton, the Greasby Turner. We've got the Wood Dude. Hi, Stephen. We've got Bailey Woodworks. And I think I've covered everybody. And I do apologise if I've missed anybody off. Sorry?
You're just about there. 29 people watching.
Yep. So, welcome. Oh, look at that.
Well,
Welcome, Jennifer. Does she ever
Right.
see Jennifer's got nice new toys?
Yeah. Just stop the lathe at this point normally to decide which way around things are going to go, but all this is pretty straight grain, so it makes no odds.
Which
looks
woods
nice
are
as
you
it is.
using there, Pete?
I've got maple,
Walnut.
walnut, and I think the centerpiece is beech.
Okay.
Where's Ben? Is he not in? He needs a walnut here. Where's Ben?
Oh,
I do like that little template you've got, Pete. I might have to do one
Yeah,
of
it's
those.
one of my
I think they're making
sticks.
one of them.
I actually made this as a demo for somebody. Can't remember who. It was having trouble with chuck sizing, and then figured, well, I might as well use it since I've made it.
Yeah, why not?
It's going in a C jaw, so it's not a dovetail, but I just put a little relief in there for the tooth to bite into.
I don't think you have to shape it. I think it looks ace as it is. Shane
Um,
Hurst has
just leave
joined
it.
us.
Stick on the mantelpiece.
Yeah, just leave it. Where Wivey Woodshed's in.
these look best when they have a little curve in them, so it'll look better in a minute.
Roger Kent's in.
My goodness.
Brian, you've got to say Ben 3 times. He'll turn up.
What, like a genie?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi,
Bit like Linda.
Ben.
Yeah, Glyn does that. Although he's on the phone to the
That's-
bike shop at the moment.
That's Beetlejuice, which I remember was a very good movie. I enjoyed that. It was funny.
It's a long time ago. Though.
Michael Keaton.
If it's a comedy, I probably wouldn't watch it because I'm a bit miserable like that.
Oh, Shane Hurst has joined us.
Hi, Shane.
Hey,
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Shane. Hello,
Like I said,
welcome
this
to
was
everybody.
actually an offcut from a completely different project. Check the elbow stepper out.
Clive Rogerson suggests that he says he thinks Record Power suggests that you shouldn't make a relief cut for the jaw tooth.
That's
the
Record
bird's
Power.
tooth,
These
or
are
whatever you want to
Axminster
call that
jaws.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't always. It depends on the timber. But
Well, it
this
depends-
being,
Yep, if it's
Depends too on the jaws.
yeah,
If you're using
Yep.
the gripper jaws, you wouldn't make the indent. If you're using dovetail jaws, you would.
this being maple and walnut, then it's a good idea to put a small indent there. It's not necessary.
Yep.
It works without it, but
Miss T's
a
wood
little
turning has
claw
joined
or
us.
bird's beak
Hi, Miss T.
on my right. Hi, Miss T. How you doing?
Hi, Miss T.
hello.
Saw your post this morning about the pyrography machine. Can't help you, I'm afraid. Don't have one.
I
was
love
it
my
up to your post? What was
pyrography.
the
I have
question?
I have one, but the different styles of tips that's on the picture are for shading, etc. Some are for hard lines, some are for fine lines, some are for shading, like a spoon-shaped one, which is definitely for shading.
I use the spoon tip quite a lot, even for doing lines. You know, you get used to it.
You do?
You do.
I tend to use the skew for doing my lines.
This is possibly a little bit shorter than I would really like. Leave me with a smaller cup if I want to get a base out of it as well. But as I said, it's an offcut.
Looks,
It doesn't matter.
it looks a perfect size for a box, you know, Pete.
Yeah,
Just
I think that's what I made with this. Was a couple of boxes.
Okay.
And I said this was just the offcut that I didn't use.
Actually, if it's a small goblet, it would be just perfect for the Hobbit.
So I'm going for sort of a thistle shape. You'll see why when I stop the lathe.
Yeah,
It's my
Stephen
favourite
was
shape of goblet.
Stephen was indicating that The Razor pyrography tools run around 200 pounds on your side. That's
Yep.
that's still pretty expensive compared to what they are here in Canada.
Yeah.
What
Well,
sort
we
of
found that
price
when you
would there
were
be in
over,
Canada?
the one way was considerably it's more expensive in the UK, wasn't it? One-way sharpening system you were looking at.
Yeah, we could pick
Ow.
up a one-way system. I think the last one I bought was $69.
Right.
Can't get anything for £69 in this country.
No, you really
Where's
can't.
my mouse?
Cup of tea and a biscuit.
Right, if you're lucky.
Is you made on? Oh no, Michelle's in the chat, isn't she? Could you drop some subtle hints and it'd be so? Oh, I'm really thirsty. Or doesn't it work?
I've got a cup of tea. You just made a cup of tea.
This is Michelle we're talking about.
Michelle's lovely.
She is. She's
Michelle doesn't
lovely.
do guilt trips though.
No,
Yeah, you can stop crawling, Beckett.
crawling.
Now at least Brian calls you Beckett as well. Oh, Mark.
Yeah, people only ever call me Beckett when they're angry with me.
Got you.
I'm not angry,
Right.
Mark.
I
That's just
guess
the way
I've
I
never
talk.
gotten angry with you yet, Mark.
No, that's true. It's because you're the boss.
Yet.
Yes,
yeah.
Yet. I love
There's
that.
those yets there.
Well,
Right,
if
yeah.
he cuts the wrong way grain direction, he knows I would.
Yeah,
This is
within
true.
seconds.
Wood turnings by Barry is in. Good afternoon, Barry.
He doesn't
Hi,
do
Barry.
things like that. Cut in the wrong direction.
You have been known to, Mr. Oosby.
I do it all the time.
Check the camera there.
Stephen's asking if Thomas Beckett was a nice guy.
He was a thoroughly nice guy. No relation. Spelled his name wrong.
Thomas Beckett.
2 T's. He was a bit of a troublesome priest.
Apparently so.
Ben's in.
Hello, Ben.
Yes,
And
it is.
yes,
Morning,
it is
Ben.
Walnut Ben. Hi, Ben.
Ben's not
As
in.
if by magic.
Oh no.
There you go, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Walnut.
That is indeed
Yeah.
walnut, Ben. Right, walnut, just for you.
It's a beautiful combination, isn't it? Maple and walnut. It's just
Yes, Doug,
But-
I get the same reaction when I see a lot of cutting against the grain.
Yeah, going to do that now. Oops.
And that's what happens.
Oops. Yeah.
Oh. Take that. I felt the slap on the wrist just then.
black eye.
Could be worse.
Yes, that's true.
Could be me getting slapped on the wrist again.
That's right.
You get slapped on the wrist, Brian.
All the time. All the time.
Well, he's
I
a
could
husband.
use a variety of tools to do this hollowing. Because it's end grain, I could use a ring tool.
Could
Or
have
use
used a,
actual hollowing tools.
could use a hook tool.
Use a hook tool. Actually, I couldn't use a hook tool because I haven't got one. But
That makes it difficult. You'll have to come over and borrow one of mine.
yeah, that's a good plan.
Those hook tools look like scary beasts.
I have used one, and they're not as scary as they look.
No, they're not.
That's a bit like the
Um,
ring tool. That looks kind of scary too.
Yeah. And as you know, Brian, it's not because you've used it now.
It's not. Yeah, I've got one. It's in there. It's not that scary.
No, I like mine. One that Pete's lent me to use. I actually really like it.
Royce, the boy, has joined us.
Good
Afternoon,
afternoon,
Hi,
Roy.
Roy. Don't be left in bed now. Roy's up.
Also, if you're doing this at home, if you can rotate your headstock just a few degrees, it does make life easier.
Yes,
So if I
it
do that, all my cameras go out of line. So
that's one thing I really enjoy on the record power lathe that I bought.
sorry about that noise, but it's just a bit far over the tool rest.
Not that
What
bad.
record player one did you buy? Did you get, Ruby?
I only got the Herald because I've
Only.
I've got them down in my basement, and
Yeah.
7 lathes kind of take up a lot of room.
They
So
do,
I
but
didn't.
yeah.
So I didn't really have room for a bigger one. And that one's good. It'll do 14-inch diameter, and
I have to say, out of the 3 main lathes that they make now, I think that's the best of the 3. The best designed of the 3, I think.
well, it has a lot of features that I really like.
Yep, me too. I loved it greatly.
Ash at Katie's shed is in. Good afternoon, Ash. Royce
Hi,
the
Ash.
boy is saying,
Welcome
is
along, buddy.
Terry on holiday again?
No, the problem with Terry is his legs are short. So he took his step ladder on
He's a bit
holiday with
injured
him
at
to
the
get up
moment.
on a sun lounger and forgot to bring it back, so he can't reach the lathe.
Now Ben is mentioning about the hook tool. He said he wouldn't be afraid to use a hook tool. He'd just be afraid it will snap when he gets the inevitable catch. They look so fragile. Is that the case?
Well, if you use them properly, you shouldn't be getting catches. I mean, it's kind of a unique idea to use them properly.
I don't think they catch that easily.
Yeah, you have to work on it.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're not,
Steve.
I said they look more scary than they really are.
Stephen is asking if I'm starting a lathe captive breeding program over here. And I am. In all honesty, I am. If I never get my garage cleared out of wood and other stuff, then I'll have room for them to expand. Now, what happened was I started with a bigger lathe right off the bat, but I don't want to get rid of them because when I do commercial turning, I quite often have to use the bigger lathes. And
Hugh
for
from Wouldn't It Be
teaching,
Nice has joined.
yeah. And
Hi,
then
Hugh.
Good afternoon. So Ben saying I always use tools properly, Ruby. Are you confusing me with Brian?
well, you're not using it properly if you're getting a catch with a hook tool or a ring tool. Okay, Stephen, I'll send any offspring over to you.
Brent Beecroft's in. Good afternoon, Brent. Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Brent.
95% of all catches happen because something distracts you.
Sid's Repurposing
Yeah.
has joined. Hi, Sid.
I said. You've got 48 people watching, Dave.
Cool. Welcome, everybody.
David J. Heath has joined. Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Chris says the best thing about basements is no one is going to steal your lathe. And he's absolutely right about that.
Or if they do, the hernia that they get is punishment enough.
Well, my lathe is at the bottom of the garden. There's two 18-inch steps to get over. You then got to get it through a narrow passage down the side of the house. I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Most of mine, I think the weight would deter them alone.
But I did get it down here in a wheelbarrow, so.
Oh, what I did was I got two of my students who are nice, young, strong young men to carry them down in parts and then reassembled them.
Yeah, but you're a good-looking woman, Ruby, so you'll get help. People just look at me and say, "Do it yourself."
Well, it's because I'm an older woman. I think that's what it is.
Yes, Barry. Good holiday. Thanks, mate.
You're so glad to be back, aren't you?
Didn't want to come home, to be honest.
Doing
Good night,
like
both
that,
said.
right?
Good night, both said we didn't want to come home.
So I didn't mention, but I switched to the Simon Hope Carbide, getting around that corner.
Yeah, Stephen
Done
says.
nicely.
Yeah, Stephen says you would have to be a power lifter to steal his lathe. Do you ever use carbide tools, Pete?
Only the Hope Hollowing one. I don't have any. I would like to know how to use them. I borrowed some cheap ones, which I didn't get on with at all. But I don't know if that's because, whether it was because they were cheap carbides and not very good, or because I just haven't learned how to use them.
Oh, it's too bad you didn't watch a club demo that was done the other night. Ron Campbell from AZ Carbide did an entire demonstration on using carbides and the different types of carbides.
Yeah.
And it was very well done.
Well, I think that's it. And I think the Easy Wood and the Hunters, they use carbides that are made for woodwork, whereas some of the cheap ones are metalwork carbides that are just fashioned up on a handle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a world of difference.
Well, it's how you present them to the wood that makes the difference as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. I mean, as I said, I need to get some decent carbides and use them. But I do have probably 30 odd traditional tools here. A lot of them have got another 5 or 6 years in them before I need to replace them. So I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. But yeah, I've got nothing against carbides, and I think for somebody starting out, there's a choice to be made.
Well, for certain woods, they're actually superior to use. Like when, well, even scrapers, period. Scrapers were used even back in the 1700s.
Yeah.
But they were used predominantly on things like ivory, bone, really dense woods like the blackwood and that. And you'll find with some of those really dense woods, the carbides will actually cut better than a traditional tool will.
Yes.
Brent
Stephen?
Beecroft is saying that we need a Simon Hope dealer in Canada.
Yeah, Simon doesn't ship to Canada anymore. You have too much trouble with post service over there.
That's unfortunate.
Price of insurance went up.
But they are good tools. The gouges and stuff he sells are crown gouges, basically. So they're fairly sort of standard.
Now,
I'm
Pete,
doing
do
this
you
with a
want to?
parting tool. I wouldn't normally, but I haven't got a lot of wood left, so I'm trying to economise a bit.
Steven says that the cheap carbides are useless. You basically get what you pay for. The
Yeah.
AZ carbide and Easy Wood are the best.
That's true.
Interestingly enough, they've now come up with carbides for the coring tools, the one-way coring tools, and that.
Mhm.
But you have to be careful because if the wood is really, really dry and hard, the carbides have a tendency to snap.
Yorkshire Kids in. Hi, Glenn.
Good morning
Hi, Glenn.
or good afternoon, Glenn.
Good afternoon, Glenn.
Okay, if I had another inch of timber, I would do a bit more shaping on there, but I haven't. So we'll work with what we got.
So what you form now basically is your tenon for the cup part of your goblet, right?
Almost. It's not quite down to size yet, but I want a bit of strength there for this bit. And normally I'd have a little fillet above that, but I'll put that on the stem instead because I haven't got the space here.
Tra la 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 la.
So what's the reason for a fillet?
God.
My view is when you look at a glass, it gets thicker in two places. One is at the bottom of the bowl, and the other one is on the edge of the base, because you're getting light refracted differently through those bits, and you're kind of reproducing that by putting a little detail in it.
Okay.
But it looks better, that's all. And I think it's because we're used to seeing that different diffusion.
Well, we use the fillets also when we're doing spindle turning,
Yeah,
Yes.
like quite often on the sides of a bead to separate it from where you come down into a cove.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a separator, but in terms of a goblet, I think that's where it really scores, is because that's what we're used to seeing, and things always look better if they're like what you're expecting to see.
Well, we expect to see them because those are designs that were come up with hundreds of years ago.
Mhm.
Exactly, yeah. It's what we normally see.
Radar the woodturners in. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Radar.
There we are. Along
Hi,
with it.
Radar.
So I've got a fairly thin edge here. I sort of half rolled it with a tool, but I'm rolling my edge, Brian, but I'm doing it with the abrasive.
Stephen would like to know if you're going to use spalted wood like Mr. Walt did on his 3-part goblet video.
Probably not, because I haven't got time. I can't send too many of them flying across the workshop.
That's maybe a good decision, Pete.
Well, I did throw a piece of bark off on the last one I did. So, you know, I'm doing my bit.
Can go in 30 minutes, please.
Thank you. Okay, look over somewhere else at the moment. I'm going to put my finger in there.
You know,
I don't see anything wrong with putting your finger in there.
No, it's
No.
not far. It's not far
it's
in, and
wide
the
enough.
shape is good. There's no sharp edges, nothing to catch me.
I mean, if your goblet was about a foot deep, that might be a little
That's
different.
different, yeah. But
Mind you would be in for a heavy night of drinking then.
you would. Did that Saturday. That was very heavy.
no.
My brother went to bed Saturday night. He got up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, cooked himself some dinners because he's a truck driver. So he makes his dinners and takes them with him. Then he went back to bed.
He didn't leave you to your own devices, did he? Oh.
It was a good little party.
Mark Stroughton has joined us. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon.
Hiya, Mark.
Oh, and for the record, this plaster on my finger wasn't a workshop thing. I cut myself peeling a potato.
Just for the record.
Jappy Mix is in as well. Good
He cut
afternoon.
himself peeling spuds. Oh, dear.
Are you happy?
Stephen says he thought all wood turners were teetotalers.
I don't drink tea.
I don't know what turners you know.
I don't know what we've done if he knows either. Although I do drink tea.
I do too.
Oh,
In
And
fact,
brandy
I have
lemonade.
one with
drink
me right
ever.
now.
It's a
And I've been-
terrible drink.
I've been known to have the occasional brandy. Maybe the odd doing that.
And
No, I've got 240 to go yet.
oh, 240, the magical grit.
Goodness sake, calm yourself, woman, would you?
Oh. I'm just trying to drop subtle hints so people
Yeah.
they're not
No, you're about
surprised.
as subtle as a house
Yeah.
brick.
Yeah, I know.
So, about as subtle as a brick through your front window.
It's Monday. People need to get into the stride of things.
Oh, not over here. Today's a holiday over here.
Is it?
Is it? Oh. Seth
Seth
from Brickhouse Crafters works is in. Hiya, folks.
That's
Oh,
it.
Seth.
Moved our
Welcome along,
end
buddy.
of May holiday
Right.
because it's the Queen's Jubilee. So we've moved the end of May holiday to make it a long weekend.
Yeah, it's a Friday and a Monday, isn't it?
Thursday,
No.
Friday.
Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday.
Friday, is it?
Friday.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but isn't today the Queen's Jubilee?
No,
No.
No, it's
2nd of
Fourth
June.
period.
first weekend of June.
5th of
So
June.
The Jubilee party's this weekend, isn't it?
No.
I kind of thought so.
It is. It's this weekend, is it not?
No, this weekend's the 28th, 29th of May. Jubilee weekend is 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Oh,
Whereas the actual day of the Jubilee is the 5th. That's the
Oh,
actual
okay.
anniversary day.
but no.
No,
Well,
it's
you
the
could,
second,
you could,
isn't it?
you could take Brent's expression. He's retired, so no holidays, no vacation pay.
yeah, there's a problem with being
Ah.
a pensioner. You don't get any days off, do you? You're
I
always a
know,
pensioner.
shocking, Pete, isn't it? Can't remember the last time I had a day off.
That'll have been yesterday, Brian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right enough, so it was. But that was a Sunday. That doesn't count.
And today, Brian. Oh, and tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh,
Wednesday's
why
looking
off-
good as well.
Why off tomorrow again?
No, I'm actually working tomorrow. I've got computers to fix tomorrow.
I'm working this afternoon.
I'll be working this afternoon too. Well, you
I'm
could loosely
driving
call
Glyn
it work.
around.
I'll go try and cut a piece of wood in half.
Now, if
I'm
you
good.
were going to actually use this goblet to put real alcohol in, I don't think that's the finish I would use.
No.
I would probably go with the Rustins.
Yeah, Rustin's plastic coat, but it's plastic coat, and I don't like drinking out of plastic
That's it.
containers. So,
Agreed.
you know, if I go to a pub that serves you drinks in a plastic glass, I'll change pubs and go somewhere else.
So when they
Um,
actually used wooden goblets many, many moons ago, before there was plastic, what did they use?
Having said that,
Or did they just
Beeswax.
if I make a wedding toast goblet, I don't finish it with anything. I finish the outside, but I leave the inside completely natural. Because my view is
Right.
it then drinks some of the wine, and you have a permanent record of memory on it, especially if you drink red wine. But yeah, that's just me being an old fool and a marketing ploy.
Well, you could always do what Mark does and make the top out of a glass.
Yes.
Good.
Guess what?
Oh,
No,
God.
no.
Mute, everybody, quick, mute.
Oh, that's not very nice.
That's terrible, Mark. I can't believe you said that. That's
I can't
shocking.
believe he said it out loud.
It's Mark. Of course you can believe he said it out loud.
It's Mark's fault.
Listen, I haven't been able to insult you for ages.
Now I've left
It doesn't-
my
Oh,
what will be the tenon on the end of this oversize to give me some strength while I'm doing this bit. But there's another advantage. If I get any of this onto it, then I'm going to be cutting a bit more wood off, so I will be back to bare wood for the gluing. So I haven't got to be careful with it. If you've got a tenon that's going to hold glue on a finished piece any size, then you've got to think about masking it off or being very careful with it. So speed down to about a bit lower than that actually, about 500-ish, 300 to 500.
hands that feel pity can be soft as your face, with light brown Yorkshire gritty.
See, straight in, no invitation. Just go straight in.
The invitation is watching the grit
Lovely,
on the
Joe.
piece.
That was lovely, Joe. Thank you for that.
Ah,
Yeah, that was, yeah.
watch it, watch it.
I just disappeared there to turn the extractor off because obviously I don't need it now.
That was very,
You don't need to
Yes,
say any
very-
more, Beckett.
very,
Yeah. Zip it.
Least said, soonest mended. Apparently.
Now, this
Look,
is
for
actually
the
quite
next-
a thick walled cup here. It's about 3 mil thick.
Well, the good thing is if you drop it, it won't break and you'll still be able to refill it.
Yeah. So it's a bit stronger. And because it's a Battenberg, as I call it, this will glue together. It does leave a bit more glue on there to hold them all pieces together. Although this one's actually knocking around the workshop for a couple of years, I think. Waiting for me to think of something to do with it. So it's
Serious question from Brian with a Y. For Joe and for Glenn. The temperature here today is 33 degrees. Does the grit part of the Yorkshire grit separate if it goes liquid? Question.
I didn't think it would separate at 33 degrees. Now, Glyn's just nipped out of the room because I don't want to give you any false information, but I will ask him.
When he
And
comes.
yeah, when he comes back, I will ask him. Brian. So I can get your answer for you.
Boy, I'm glad I'm not there.
Yeah, me
Right,
too.
right now
Too
it's
warm.
about 10 degrees Celsius here.
Yeah, it's 15 in my workshop today. 13 outside. Oh, why is it 15 in the workshop when it's 13 outside? I don't know.
It's 18 in my workshop at the moment. It's a nice
There's no
comfortable
heat
as
on,
well.
temperature.
and there's no heat on today. It's a full 2.6 degrees warmer in my workshop.
It's your body temperature, Brian.
Must be.
Heat in the area. It's all about dancing.
So
Unless
that
that's
you got an electrical short circuit somewhere.
unless that
One of your cameras is about to explode.
laser engraver is heating the place up. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be it. Yeah. Yeah, smouldering cabinet underneath it.
I wouldn't have thought so.
I would have thought another question you'd need to ask is, does the Yorkshire grit curdle if it hears too much singing?
Look, he
This is
thinks
why
he's
you're top
funny.
of
You
the
sound
list,
like
Mark.
Muttley. He thinks he's been right funny.
But basically, you just work the grit
You sound like Muttley.
until it breaks down. It doesn't wear down, it shatters and it breaks down, which is where it stays sharp down through the grit levels. So you work it until it's done that. Takes a few minutes. It's not something to be rushed. Probably takes a little bit longer than I've spent here, really. But it's worth a bit of time. When it's broken down and it's down to 1,000 grit, which the original goes down to, about, then turn the lathe up, polish it off, and you'll end up with a beautiful smooth surface.
Well, that looks nice if I say so myself.
Hmm.
Shiny.
Ready for your finish. If you're using a wax finish, go straight on. If you want to paint over Yorkshire grit, then you need to take it off again. So you would
Why
use,
would you want to paint over that?
Well,
That is lovely.
but if you had a different piece of wood and you wanted to colour it, then get some mess,
Yeah.
take it off, and work from there. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, perhaps we can ask Glenn when he comes back in. If I'm using oil, I still Yorkshire grit, and I oil over the top of it, which, as the Yorkshire grit tends to seal the wood, probably isn't the best idea, but it works for me.
I think that's what's important. If it works for you and you like it, then that's what you do.
Yeah. But sometimes it's worth doing things the right way if you find out what they are.
Sometimes.
Thing is, Bill, a lot of people forget that when you put sealer on, it doesn't seal the absolute surface. It
No, it
penetrates
soaks in.
in,
Yeah.
soaks in, and creates a barrier further down the straws or fibres of the wood. So you can actually put oil over sealer, but it doesn't penetrate in as far
Yeah.
when you do that.
And
But
I
it does
use
still work.
I don't use mineral oil very often. I tend to use polymerizing oils such as Danish or lemon oil or tung oil. But I haven't got any tung oil. I had tung oil once, but I haven't had it for a long time. But they all dry like a varnish, so they don't need to penetrate that far into the wood. As long as they're in the surface.
Woodworm Paul's just joined. Hi, Paul.
Paul.
And of course, if you're using Danish, it's quite common to put multiple coats on. So you wait till the coat's dried and then put another coat on top, which is, of course, not going to penetrate. So in my book, it works and it's okay. Okay, so it's part one done, nearly. Just need to get this tenon down to the right size.
Now, what
Right,
size will you take it down to?
I'm using 6mm. I have a rule in my workshop. Unless it's something completely off the wall, I use 6mm or 10mm for finials, or pocket watch stands. Everything I make is on one of those two sizes. That's because I've got a bad memory, and if I just use the two sizes, I'll get it right sometimes.
So a 50% chance then.
Yeah.
Going back to Brian's question a few minutes ago about does YG separate if it goes liquid? If it does go liquid, yes, it will separate, but all you have to do is actually mix it back up and let it cool down again.
Stick it in the fridge.
Fridge was not mentioned. It would end up being slightly softer than what it originally started at, but there's nothing wrong with that. It can still be used in exactly the same way.
There you go.
I hope that kind of answers the question.
So all I'm using here is a 6mm spanner, wrench in America,
Mm-hmm.
which I've put on the grinder at 80 degrees ish. Just sharpened up the bottom edge of it, and that gives me my size.
Okay. Woodworm Paul's in. Good afternoon.
Mark just said that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I never heard you.
You were
There is
talking to
part
Glenn.
one.
I think you were talking to Glenn at the time.
I might have been.
I think you were.
And go to the bottom,
Very
you can
nice.
come around, and I've got the middle piece coming out. I'll cover up that bit with the base, so it doesn't really show on this one. But I've done this before with 4 blocks, just a straightforward Battenberg 4 blocks of wood, and you get a better combination of shapes than you get with this 9-piece one.
Right.
But even so, quite effective, and they're just bandsaw cuts. They're not anything fancy about them.
I love the way you keep saying Battenberg instead of segmented.
Yeah, well, it's not really segmented. There's no angles
Yeah,
involved.
it is. Yeah, it is.
It's not real segmenting. It
Sure,
doesn't
it
take
is.
100 years to get the pieces together.
That's still segmented.
That's what I think it is. It's definitely segmented work. Pete said he would
Yeah,
never
but
go
I
these
like the word Battenberg, so
I'm in
Okay.
denial.
it's more on
You're
my
in.
level, is that?
He's in denial.
Right, for this one, it's going to be the base. So I need a mortise on this one.
That's the word I was trying to think of. Thank you, Michael. It's laminated, not segmented.
True.
Yeah,
Well,
What's
that's a
the
good one.
difference? What is the
I
difference?
don't know. It's 4 pieces joined together. I'm not sure that's laminated. Lamination usually means sheets.
Lewis has joined us.
Hi, Lewis.
Hi, Lewis.
Hey, Lewis.
Good afternoon, Lewis, or morning, where you are.
Morning where he is.
I would suggest it.
Brian with a Y says if his wife catches him with YG in the fridge, he'll tell her that I told him to.
That's it.
Yeah, go on. I've got to be guilty of something.
It's important that you keep it reasonably chilled, or at least not boiling. 33 degrees.
I used to store my CA glue in the fridge until my husband spilt a bottle of it.
Oops.
That could be a problematic issue.
It was.
Does prolong the life of CA glue, doesn't it?
It
Not
does.
something in the fridge doesn't know.
But it does make a mess, believe me.
No surprise.
Are you going to put a nice OG shape on this?
Yeah, I got to think about that a bit. This is the problem with this three-piece goblet thing. Is you've got to try and keep imagining what the stem's going to be like and what the top and bottom is going to be like and how they're going to fit together. So first of all, I want it slightly smaller than the cup, so I'll just take the edge off. For the newer turner, that's probably a bad way to be cutting, but you know, it's okay if you're careful.
Oh, I thought Mike Watt came in there.
The heat must be getting to you, Brian.
Well, it's just that expression, you know, for the newer turner.
Ben says, I've just spent 20 minutes trying to increase my basket size from £95 to £100 with free shipping. I can't believe you can't find anything for £5 that will get you to that point.
It's like an SK114 on it for me.
Yeah, that works. Here's the company with Ben. Sure, we can, between us, we can find something for you.
If you make that little spigot a bead, then whatever size you
Yeah,
put in, that would work.
That's just what I was thinking.
I've never seen this done before.
What, a 3-part goblet?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, we'll not tell Mike Watt you don't watch his channel. It's okay, we'll not tell that.
Well, you know, it's
All right.
interesting that people get fixed in their mind that a goblet has to be just one piece. And by the same token, they get fixed in their mind that a vase has to be all one piece. And I remember years ago doing a demo at a club where the vase was done in 2 pieces, which made it extremely easy to hollow for people who didn't have hollowing systems.
Yeah, hollow
And-
forms in 2 pieces are often a very good idea. And I'm absolutely certain back in the day, wood turners never turned a hollow form in 1 piece.
I'm quite sure they didn't have the tools or technology that we do today.
That's it.
And where the join lines are, if you put a set of beads, I mean, you generally can't see where the join
That's
is.
it. You can hide it very well.
I must try that. I haven't done one of those.
I mean, hiding things is fine. I don't have any problem with that at all. Because at the end of the day, once you put your finish on whatever it's going to be, then, as Martin Saban Smith says, it doesn't really matter how you cut it. It doesn't really matter how it's put together. People only see the finished piece.
That's true.
The finish that sells it. Apparently.
Brian, don't look.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What's he done?
I am
What's he done?
close to the truck, but it's only because I had a short piece of wood to start with. I wouldn't normally be that close.
No, look, see. Wood miser. He's starting to. Are you taking after me there, Pete?
No, it's just
It's a wood miser.
a one-off issue.
Yeah.
Is this going to have Yorkshire grit on it, Pete?
It will do.
Yeah, guaranteed, Joe. Guaranteed. There's going to be 3 items of Yorkshire grit on today.
Sucks to be you. Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear. Norman Grimwell says, I've just searched online for an 8-inch cube for a 3-cornered bowl. £25 plus. And a 225 crane lift carriage.
Well,
I'm confused by that.
Is that an 8-inch cube of which timber?
I took that to mean it cost him another £225
mm,
for the crane lift carriage, meaning the postage.
yeah. That's how it sounds, isn't it?
I had a commission once for bedside lamps, and they wanted them to be 8-inch spheres in walnut.
Oh,
Walnut of that size is not commonly available. Walnut in that size that gets shipped to England just doesn't exist. And the price of each blank was £400.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
And
couldn't cope with that.
yeah, that's just the timber. If there's a flaw in
couldn't
that
cope with
timber
that.
when you start cutting it, then you know that's your hard luck.
Yeah.
I couldn't cope with that. I couldn't cope with the pressure tractor and that.
I persuaded him he didn't want to use it. Changed his design.
Yeah.
But
Barry's Wood Creations joined us. Good afternoon, Barry.
The Barry.
It's another Barry.
Yeah, nearly too many Barrys.
I mean, the problem is that once you get over 2 inches, it's not cost effective to put it in a kiln.
True.
If you're going to dry an 8-inch chunk of wood, pretty much a tree length 8-inch by 8-inch piece of wood, that's going to be taking up your storage space, and you're going to have to move it around when you move stuff for quite a few years. And the UK is small, so storage space is expensive. And that's what you're paying for at the end of the day, is the space it's taking up, the time it's taking it for.
Well, if you wanted to make a bowl using an 8-inch cube, I would tend to laminate some different woods together to create the cube and then go from there.
That's what we ended up doing, yeah.
You end up with a much, I think, a prettier one.
Can you remember what woods you used, Pete?
I did use some walnut in it, but I also used some yew. It was a pair of bedside lamps, basically, and they were beautiful when they were finished. But it wouldn't have been worth the 1,600 quid or so I'd have had to charge him for doing it in walnut.
No.
You could have done it out of something like poplar and then stained it walnut.
I could, yeah. However, the customer's mostly right. If the customer's willing to pay me, then I use nicer wood.
Customers are always right, even when they're wrong.
Some of my customers are just wrong, actually.
I bet you tell them as well.
No, what I normally do is I just put the price up.
Well, what I found I do is, like, if it's a custom job and they want a particular shape, I give them some graph paper and I have them draw it right to size and shape that they want.
Yeah.
And that way they can't come back later and say, well, that's not exactly what I wanted.
This is true.
You know, like I can make suggestions and say, you know, it might look better if we were to soften this curve or something. But plus it makes it easier for you to do the turning.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to be easy for you to turn.
I got to agree with you there, because I've got these technical drawings that I've been working off of from the joinery firm, and it's a joy. Just, it's got to be 36 millimeter diameter. That's it. It's got to be 36.
Yeah.
I,
That's
re-
it. You've got it.
I remember once doing a job for some engineers for a new bridge, and I had to make up what they call pigs that are pulled through the pipes to make sure that the pipes are clean, and that if they can go around a certain corner, they've been bent to the right amount.
Yeah.
And they were very, very specific about the diameters, and I delivered them, and then later the fellow that had sold them to the firm came back and he says, those guys went ahead and mic'd all of those, and they were surprised that you had them all dead on.
Ah,
Well, see, minus the stem. That's what it looks like.
That's going to be a short goblet.
That is a bit short, that one. Let's extend it a bit. But
That's
before we
the
do
other
that, you know what's coming next?
yes.
Oh, Brian, Mark, both of you have to go get a coffee, don't you?
Yes.
Ruby.
Thank you for reminding us, Ruby.
That's
me
okay,
switch
because
on the kettle
I'm
here.
going to stay here and enjoy the music.
Oh, listen to you, troll.
Brian with a Y is asking, is that where I learned to do my drawings? No, Brian. These are proper technical drawings done
Yeah,
by professionals.
marks
Not
are
me.
not technical.
They're not technical. They're not even good.
Mm,
Yeah, the ones you showed me, Mark, were all computer generated by an engineer.
Yes.
Yep.
They're all done with CAD.
They're not Mark's handiwork for sure. You can tell
They-
there's actually straight lines in some of that drawing.
Some of the drawings, yeah, exactly. They give me the drawings in the wood, and I just turn it.
I think the biggest difference is when you look at the drawings that Mark's using for his projects at the moment, you can see what it is.
All right, Peter.
oh, I bet you missed this while you were away in
I have to
Turkey.
agree, Pete.
Well, I'm not putting any Yorkshire grit on this face here, so there's no risk of it getting into that mortise.
Hands that feel pity can be soft as your face, with light brown Yorkshire gritty.
With the
Because I've
Yorkshire
cut this little
the
relief
gritty.
on the back, I can polish that bit as well while it's on the lathe. The middle bit, obviously, we'll part it off and I'll have to sand that, but the edge is done.
Ah, look. Jerry Bartlett. Heavenly, as always, Joe.
He's such a crawler.
Oh,
Terry, we need to have words, mate.
Should have gone to Specsavers. They do hearing tests as well now, apparently.
I did. I
No,
went
Terry
there on
Bartlett.
Saturday.
No, Terry Bartlett should have.
Mark, does Kim let you put your drawings on the fridge door?
Certainly not. She's got taste.
Twice in the fridge door. Yeah, stuck on with a magnet, yeah.
Todd's saying I say Mark's drawings resemble my 3-year-old's named Beckett's drawings.
There's nothing wrong with Mark's drawings. I managed to work out what he meant. Eventually.
Yeah, I thought you did really well. I mean, your turnings almost looked identical to my drawings.
Almost looked a bit like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Mark, they weren't that bad.
Oi!
Well, I'm saying your turnings weren't as bad.
Oh,
Well, the word almost gives you some latitude there.
didn't it just?
Brian with the Y, why did you avoid my design? It's a good design. It's the same one that lots of other renowned wood turners use.
I've got
That's
the
why I
best depth.
missed it.
I've got the best depth gauge. Came from Ben of the German.
Yeah, it's a Bobby Dazzler, isn't it?
Even got handy conversion charts. It says 0 degrees Celsius is equal to 32 Fahrenheit. And pi is equal to 3.14159.
There's a
You know-
reason why they use the phrase crude artist render. I am crude. I'm no artist.
Some may disagree.
Yeah, see, I don't encourage you to get that close to the jewels.
Yeah, it's just a.
Oh,
Just
but
Yeah.
don't throw that piece away, Pete.
Yeah, that piece is gone.
Oh, no.
well, you'd have kept that, wouldn't you? You'd use that as an insert for something or something.
You're absolutely correct. An insert in the top of a box, it would look
It's-
lovely.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
probably
thinking
would.
there.
And I
As you took it out.
might use it for that yet. But
It's only in the bin temporarily.
I am indeed the crude dude from Bude.
Oh, Ben, you're getting to be a poet and you didn't know it. He says Mark is the crude dude from Bude.
Louis said the same thing as well.
Crude dude from Bude.
You're all very funny.
there's that little nub from parting off removed.
All very historical, Mark, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, Stephen is absolutely correct. He says art is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
That's why lots of mummies' fridges are covered in artwork. From
I would
children.
disagree with that. I would say that art is in the number of zeros on the check.
No, I disagree. And we can agree to disagree on that one.
Totally. I've seen some fantastic work done by starving artists who never really managed to sell it, and I've seen some abysmal work that's gone for
Oh.
millions.
Yes,
Pictures
I would agree with that.
My pictures just went shocking funny.
Mhm.
Cool, look at that. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful clean.
It is.
Did I just see you stroking a chuck there, Pete?
Yeah. SK114. We've had done on Jules.
I thought so.
Right, so I've got a little bit of
I think-
maple I'm going to use for the stem.
I think I'm going to save up and buy an easy wood chuck
This is the
Pie?
just because I feel like it.
this is the naff maple, not the good stuff. We don't get a lot of good maple in this country.
I like the fast the speed ring on the easy wood chuck.
Yeah, I've looked at those, and I've been quite impressed with the idea. But then when you look at the number of jewels that are available for them, you start to think, well, is it really worth it?
No,
Um,
now
They're
you
a bit
put
limited.
doubt in my mind.
but the idea is good. It's not really very good, that. I'm being lazy and just putting the square straight in the chuck, which I probably shouldn't. I'm going to.
That's
gonna
running
use-
fairly true.
It's pretty close. Just a tiny little wobble in the end.
You've got to be a little bit gentle with this because it's not a big piece of wood, and if I did this up too tight, it would tend to push it outwards.
I'm going to
So
drop your
just
camera
resting in
just a
there.
little bit, please. Angle it down a bit. That's better.
That's it.
Perfect.
How many cameras do you actually have, Pete?
4.
4.
No, sorry, 5. I've got one specially for Mark. Just point at the bandsaw.
Yeah.
It's the bandsaw cam.
It's called my nightmare camera.
The fingernail trimming cam. Sorry, Bartlett, you didn't have to let that cat out of the bag.
One of the nice things about doing a goblet this way is you can change your mind. You have a short stem, long stem, fat stem, thin stem.
Yeah.
You could put a twisted stem on this one.
You could. You can do any stem you want.
I like the
Or-
way he said. I like the way he said you could,
Or
and didn't follow up by, but I'm not.
you can make several stems and figure out which one you like.
Is that what Mike was doing the other night?
Yeah, he didn't like the first couple, so he rejected them.
Trashed them. Yeah.
He rejected them.
He set them free.
He just ejected them. Is what he did.
I guess I'll have to go back and look at that one.
Oh, it's funny. Ruby. It is funny.
I have watched
Brian
him.
and I
It was
were
very funny.
earworming on it, and we had a really good time. It was good fun,
It was.
as
Pete,
Mike's always are.
Pete,
Mike,
Lewis is ju-
Mike, not
Lewis
so
is-
much.
Yeah, Mike
Brian,
does.
indeed, yes.
Yeah, we loved it. Lewis has just suggested, Pete, that you're now nicely geared up for 2 lives a week.
No.
Nice try, though.
I think once Lewis starts doing lives, you might follow suit. There's about as much chance
But
of
you've
either
got
of
to
you
remember
doing
that
lives.
this is all
on a
done by
regular
carrier
basis.
pigeon, and animal rights people will be onto you if I work them too hard. I don't have internet.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Dodge from Grand Cove. Yeah, he tried to show us
And-
that right.
I can attest that the pigeons in Bristol are hard to train.
They are, yeah.
They're quite
Mindful.
militant.
Oh, militant. Oh. Lewis says he's only got one camera that reaches the lathe. That's a slight technical issue, but we can overcome that.
I've been trying to get Lewis to do lives for 2 years.
Yeah, no, but we haven't really given him a hard time yet, so
Keeps coming up with excuses.
we'll make a campaign of that.
That was a good example of why you should always turn the lathe off before you move the tool rest. I had turned the lathe off, but I didn't wait for it to stop.
Dink.
Well, do you mind if I use this time, Pete, to remind
Go for it,
folks
Ruby.
about the live session coming up?
Go for it.
Some of you will remember that Record Power has live sessions going on with Theo Hara Lampu out of Australia, and he's resuming his live sessions this week coming up. In the UK, it will be on at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday night, and in North America, it'll be on at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. So if you're interested, go to the Record Power site, and you can sign up for those if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you there on the program.
Got my email the other day. Yesterday, I think the email came in. Or was
So
it
you'll be
email?
joining us, Brian?
I think I shall.
Okay. Yeah, Theo does, on this one, he's doing his owls, and he does a very different style than I do.
Again, that isn't my final telling size. It's just giving me a viewpoint, something to look at
Okay.
while I work on what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to get fancy with the stem particularly.
So we've got a couple of hashtags. We've got Mark saying hashtag Klondike for lives. And then we've got Todd saying hashtag more resin for Brian.
What? Not a chance. Who said that?
Todd.
Todd.
Well, I like Lewis's hashtag send it to Canada, team to Canada. Oh dear.
Yes.
Ben
Oh
is
dear.
saying,
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ben is saying hashtag Klondike for lives with Ruby earworming. And maybe Mark, Pete, and Brian,
If they
they
can't find anyone.
can
Well, thanks, Ben.
find anyone else better.
You are a chancer, Ben.
Well, I'll tell you what. We could all take all of our lathes and all of our other tools and go and sit in one of the corners of Lewis's workshop, and we could hear one while we're working there.
That's an
Yep.
idea. Or you could come to my place and each of you can take a different lathe.
Yes.
Right.
Oh.
Oh, Chris wants to know, are you not going to put a captive ring on this, Pete?
We're going to do a captive ring. It's kind of hard when it's 3-piece.
Yeah, but you could do it on this part of the stem.
You know, captive rings are just silly and also illegal. So you wouldn't want me to break the law live on YouTube, I'm sure.
Stephen, you're welcome anytime to my place.
So Ben says, and Joe, sorry, forgot Joe. So Clive said, that has got to be worth a few places up the list, Ben.
Yeah, I would say so.
I tell you what, I've had to go on another page.
Apparently Lewis is watching without sound.
I can't believe all these new people on the list. They're all trying to take my #1 position off me.
Mark,
Well, they're not going to
they
succeed,
can't
Mark.
because
So
you're
don't
on a
you
list
worry.
all of your own.
Kim has softened you, Mark. Now I have to say, Pete, that's a much different style than I've ever seen for a goblet, for a stem. So it's
Yeah, it's
pretty,
different to what I've ever cut, I think, Ruby. I've just
Winged it.
I
one
look
of the
for
nice things about doing this is you can just wander, let your mind wander, and just cut where you want to. See what comes out.
well, it'll be interesting to see when you put it together how it looks.
Yeah, I'm wondering that as well.
And if you don't like it, make another one.
Yeah, that's the biggest advantage here is you can just play around with it.
Ben's back. Ben's off to work. Bye, Ben.
Cheers, Ben.
Yep. Have a good day, Ben.
And the other thing
Bye,
is,
Ben.
of course,
I'm not so sure he should have a good day after that last comment.
if you want to do a one-piece goblet, if you practice with these, get some shapes and stuff in your head, see how combinations go together, then you can make a one-piece based on that, can't you?
You could.
Now, Lewis
That's
has
true.
said Mark is contractually obligated to earworm if he gets
That's very
to
true.
do
Yeah.
lives.
So, is that Lewis saying that he's going to be doing live soon?
Yeah, no.
That kind of
Yeah.
is.
It
Kind of
isn't.
is. You know, he's working on final contract details here.
He's dangling carrots, I think.
It kind of isn't. He's all just trying to lead us all up a garden path.
Now, Stevens made a good comment that abstract art is all the rage these days. Yeah, it's been interesting watching the way that design has changed in wood turning over the years. Like I can remember back to a period where you didn't texture, you didn't carve, and you didn't color any of your turned pieces. They weren't considered acceptable.
Correct.
And today it's almost like they're not acceptable if they aren't.
Yeah.
This is true.
I know a turner who shall remain nameless, who is doing a demo shortly. And the specific instruction was there is to be no colouring because they don't like it. That's for turning a demo for a club.
Well,
So that-
you know, if you have a really
exists.
beautiful, you have a really beautiful piece of wood, I don't see why you would, or you know, or
No, it
burl or
doesn't need colour
something.
then. That definitely doesn't need colour if it's a beautiful piece of wood.
There's an awful lot of latitude in what you can do these days. As Ruben says, if you've got a beautiful piece of wood, in my view, you shouldn't colour it. Maybe put a small detail into it, you know, a coloured band on it or something. Maybe that's acceptable. If it's a beautiful piece of wood, it stands for itself.
Well,
But that's my view.
the important thing to all of it, whether you color it or not, your shape and form have to be right.
Yeah,
If you don't have a good shape or form, it doesn't matter what you do to it, it will never look good.
that's it. See, I'm really old-fashioned in my design most of the time. I look at ceramic and glass back to Roman, Greek, and Egyptian periods, and most of my designs come from that.
I think subconsciously most people's designs do come from that.
But nowadays I've got a better way, because all I've got to do now is look at Stephen the Wood Dude, see whatever he's doing, and I know it's good, so I just copy it.
Copy.
I will agree with that 100%. His work is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, Joe, are you ready?
Oh, God.
In a minute.
I would agree
In
too.
a minute.
Ruby,
Oh,
would you remind
you've all
everyone?
been so blessed today. 3
Hey,
times.
if I was the one to sing, believe me, you wouldn't have any audience left. In fact, Pete would leave.
Yeah, I'm the same,
Hands
Ruby.
fluffy can be soft as your face, with light brown Yorkshire gritty. There you go.
Now again, even though it's a small piece, you're talking about bits of Yorkshire which break down in their own pace, and it does take a few minutes. It's worth it. But
Paul,
I'm
I
getting back to
didn't
shop.
buy anything from Yandles. I bought something from Axminster.
Something.
You bought everything from
Something.
Axminster.
Yeah.
The shop was
Came home and the
empty.
Axminster shop was empty.
Yeah,
can assure you it wasn't.
Lewis has made a good point that there's 44 people and we're missing a few thumbs up.
What?
Be nice if you folks hit that so we can
Oops.
keep Pete going.
Oops.
That's because Joe keeps singing.
It's because
Don't
you
blame
keep
me.
groaning, Mark.
Yeah.
Suppose I better give it a thumbs. Oh, I did give it a thumbs up.
There was just some essentials, Paul.
It's not too bad actually. We've got 42 people watching and there's 37 thumbs up. That's a pretty good average.
That's pretty good going. Yeah.
Steven says the kind of wood I usually get is so bad I have to color it. Classical design will always win. Thanks. I'll be posting checks soon, earworms. Oh dear.
We keep asking Steve to stop because he's making the rest of us look bad.
No,
Stop,
don't
Steve,
have
we
him
need your
stop.
idea.
He's an inspiration to other people.
He
Seriously.
is indeed. No, he definitely doesn't want to stop. That's for sure.
Terry Bartlett says, "What a treat we've had today. Yes, the wood turning's been fantastic."
Beckett.
And
I know what kind
David,
of I know
has
what kind
said
of treat
great
he's
job,
talking
Joe.
about.
So do I.
Well, you can think that, Joe.
Oh, read what Jennifer says.
Yeah, I
forgot.
know.
Jennifer.
I
Oi,
forgot to do
Beckett.
that bit.
Becky.
Obviously, it
Hey,
doesn't work
Joe.
if you don't show the camera.
Dear. Well, Paul, I thought you spent loads of money on goodies. He did. There's nothing left on the shelves.
Lewis has got a question. He's put out the Thin Wall Challenge. What's the proper name? The Thin Wall Challenge was the challenge set by the Wood Turning Club that Steve is a member of.
That's
And
right.
he just used it for one of his videos.
It wasn't a YouTube challenge.
No,
Not yet,
it
anyway.
wasn't. I did one last year, which was the Thin Wall
You did.
Challenge.
Yeah,
I
you
don't-
did. Yeah.
I'm
Was that not
sorry.
you did, yeah.
That was
I
ridiculous.
don't really see a point in doing things thin-walled. Yeah, you prove that you can turn thin, but the piece becomes so fragile that the slightest thing can cause it to break.
I
This
think,
is true.
if I remember rightly, Ruby, you earwormed for me doing that.
I
Yes,
had
yes.
commission, I think it was last year, for a set of bowls, all of them 3mm thick. Which, you can do a bowl 3mm thick, you can do a bowl 1mm thick. But doing 40 of them, that was quite a challenge.
I seem to remember mine fell apart.
And I got to say, I was not happy with any of them.
But the one I did, I got down
Well,
to under a mil. And it
I was
did
happy when I got
basically
paid, but I wasn't happy
apart
with
the
the
next
way they
day.
looked.
Yours self-exploded,
It just tore itself apart when it was drying.
and mine exploded on the lathe.
Well, if I remember correctly, I fell asleep for Brian's.
That was the one. Yes, you did.
That was the one.
Well, I'll say the one. One of the ones.
Mhm.
Am I still top of the list?
You're
Yeah.
always the top of the list.
Yay, me.
And there you go.
Hey,
That looks
bottom.
nice, Pete.
There you
Oh,
are.
and,
You're doing a rubbish job. You're doing a rubbish job of
Ah.
hiding it.
And 2
there's the
captive rings too.
That's
yeah.
good,
Very
Pete.
nice.
excellent.
Captive rings are silly, let's throw them.
Oh,
I think you kept that.
I do actually quite like that.
yes,
same
it
shape.
does
Yeah.
look
Really
quite
nice.
different.
Yeah. I might
That's
don't like
lovely.
the wood it's in. It doesn't match, but it's not supposed to match, I suppose. Yeah,
That's really nice, Pete. Really nice.
one little 3-piece project
Good job, Pete.
did over there.
Douglas Mungham's joined us.
Hi,
Just at
Douglas.
the end, Douglas.
Where have you been?
Right at the end. There you go, Douglas. Is what I turned.
I
It's a three-piece. You look there, you can see it's kind of segmented. I call it Battenberg, not segmented.
yeah.
You me.
It's segmented.
Bring the guys back in.
Oh no.
Thank
Here,
you all for
Mears.
watching. Thank you very much, you guys, for earworming for me.
You're
No
welcome.
Well,
problem.
thanks for having us along, Pete. It
It's a
was
pleasure. I was
enjoyable.
engrossed. I was engrossed.
And
We know.
yeah, hopefully it's given somebody some ideas of things they can go and turn in the workshops.
True.
Great
I said
life.
that started off, it's been here for a long time, that Battenberg, because I'm pretty sure it was boxes I was making. And I just glued a big piece up together and sliced it up and made the boxes, and I had that piece left over. It was a bit too short for the box, so it just got sat there waiting for me to think of something to do. And when Mike did his three-piece goblet the other week, I thought, aha.
Aha.
Yeah.
Aha.
It comes clear in the end.
Yeah,
It all becomes clear.
that's why my workshop is such a mess and so full of stuff, because it's really hard to throw offcuts away.
That's very, very true. And whatever
it-
you do, don't throw
really?
that little piece off the base away.
I'll probably fish that out and use it.
Good. I'm
Oh,
proud of
good
you.
fish.
And if you
Douglas is
don't want to
asking,
use
how's
it,
the white legs?
if you don't want to use it, send it to me and I'll use it.
Not very white.
Not very white.
Oh God,
Stop
he's getting his
showing
legs
off
out
your legs.
again.
He's got his legs out again. Well,
Get
thank
out
you all for
your
coming
legs
in.
out for the place.
Showing off
Um,
because he's been on
If
holiday.
there's any sort of last-minute questions, that's kind of it for now.
Excellent, Pete. Thank you very much, mate.
Yep,
Enjoyed
very
that.
good. You're getting good
Yeah.
at these, Pete.
So it's cheerio from
Yeah.
Joe,
Bye for now.
Yeah. cheerio from Ruby,
Bye.
cheerio from Brian,
Cheerio.
cheerio from Mark,
Bye-bye.
cheerio from me. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.